It is the penultimate episode of Season 1 of Game of Thrones, but unfortunately it's the final episode for Sean Bean and Ned Stark. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, here to review Game of Thrones. This one was called Baelor, and it is the last time that we will ever see Ned Stark, or at least last time we'll ever see Ned Stark alive, because he's dead.
His head might be roaming around, his head might be on a pike, but yes, he's dead. Sean Bean is like a big bottle of Jim Beam.
Yeah, he kept his head, I think, throughout his years. He was a wise head, but unfortunately now he's just beheaded, and it's a shame to see Ned Stark go. He was my favourite character in the entire show, so I mean, I'm a bit gutted to see...
For one season in out of 8, that's good, that's good.
Yeah, to see Ned go, I'm not too happy about this, but whatever, we didn't write the show, we can't change the show. Did Ned Stark need to die so early? I'm not too sure.
I think it all happened very quickly, to be honest. But it's mad, like, I know this is a real life thing, but like, Robert, does he know about any of this? What would he be thinking?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ned?
We'll find out, I guess.
Nerdy.
In the Riverlands, Robb's army has reached the Twins. They can't get past, though, because they need to get permission from Lord House Frey. But House Frey is trying to send ravens, I guess, to, I don't know, King's Landing. They're trying to alert the Lannisters, but Theon Greyjoy keeps shooting down the messenger ravens, so they can't get their messages out. So basically, the House Frey are trapped. They're not going anywhere. Theon Greyjoy's just shooting down their last bits of hope. So Catelyn says she's going to go in and talk to him because she knows Walder Frey and that she says he would never harm me, blah, blah, blah. She goes in and it's like everybody in House Frey, it's like they're all mutants. It's like they're all fucked up and they're like growing extra limbs and shit like this. Walder Frey sitting on the throne. I mean, the guy must be well into his 60s. And his wife is fucking 15, and I believe that it's his daughter as well.
Is it?
I think so.
Not that it could make it much worse, but that does make it worse.
Well, I don't think it's just some random 15-year-old. I believe this is his daughter, that he's just sitting there holding her arse, and it's just fucking weird. He says he's never... Catelyn wants to speak to him alone. He ends up speaking. He says that you've never respected me. Your father never went to the last wedding. Caitlin said he was ill, and he went, well, he never went to the one before that. Or the one
he had prior engagements. The one before that. The one before that.
Or the one before that.
Maybe he just doesn't like fucking pedos, mate.
Maybe Walder Frey says you've always looked down on him, and now you need him.
I wonder why.
And it turns out that Walder Frey is willing to let them cross, but there's a couple of stipulations. Caitlin tells Robb that, first of all, Arya will need to marry one of his sons, and then there's another circumstance. He wants Robb to take one of his sons, Oliver Frey, as a squire, and Robb's like, that's no problem. But then the third and final thing that's a little bit of a problem is that he wants Robb to marry one of his daughters, and Robb kind of asks Catelyn, is there any half-decent looking ones there? And Caitlyn's like, there might be one that's okay, and Theon Greyjoy's just laughing, everyone's kind of laughing, but Robb takes it on the chin, and he's like, fuck it, we need to win this war.
It'd be funny if it was reversed and he was asking him to marry one of his sons.
But, yeah, I don't think Robb is too... That's mad that Robb's agreed to marry one of these people without even ever meeting them.
It's true, but, I mean, I guess he could just job this guy if he wanted to. I wouldn't fucking blame him.
But then again, Sansa and Joffrey were pretty much getting set up to be married. They'd never met each other.
True.
I guess that's just a kind of thing that happened back then.
I've got a feeling Robb won't make marriage.
Robb ain't gonna make it. The Lannister armies are preparing for battle. Tywin tells his son Tyrion that they're going to use the Hill Tribe forces on the edge against the Stark army. That means they're going to die, because normally when you're on the edge, you're used as cannon fodder, and Tyrion must lead this army in front of the vanguard. So Tyrion thinks that his father's trying to kill him, and he's kind of true, because he is. Bronn is in his tent with a whore named Shay. Tyrion takes an immediate liking to her. And that's pretty much it. We get some scenes with these two, and they have drinking games, and she's not a fan of Tyrion speaking bad about her family. So, I don't know.
It was weird though, seeing it was like drinking games for like 15-year-olds, and obviously these three are all clear adults.
Yeah, Tyrion tells a story about how one time he found a whore that was attempt at almost getting raped, and he saved her, and Jaime chased them off, and then
Put his cloak around her.
yeah,
It was like the size of a
must have been a size of a glove or something. And then she slept with him that night, and they got married. But Shay says that you're a bit of an idiot because no woman that just got raped would invite a man into her bed, and it turns out that it was a sob story, and that it was all set up to try.
It's a very valid point for Shay.
To try and get Tywin to fucking, I don't know.
Probably one of the smarter things one of the characters said in this.
Pub is first love, I guess. So yeah, we have the drinking games and whatnot. That's pretty much it. It looks like Tywin and Shay are now a couple. They're now a thing. She gets promised safety. She gets promised his good company, and she gets promised a lot of gold. And she's like, right, okay, well, let's get to it then. Let's give you what you want, which is, I guess, sex in this case. We then find out that they're going to march. So Jaime Lannister, he's got his own army. Tywin's got his own army. Tyrion is getting woken up by Bronn. He's late to the party, so to speak. He slept in. He gets a helmet.
Sleeping in for war.
Yeah, he gets a helmet chucked at him. So we'll see what happens. He tries to get his helmet on. He walks out the camp. He turns around, and there's the big Viking guys. They're charging past, and Tywin's trying his best here not to get stamped on, not to get fucking trampled to death. And he's trying to keep up with them. And then he turns around, and he literally just sees this big hammer, and it cracks him on the side of the face, and it was so fucking funny. And then everyone just like runs to war, and they're all like trampling on him, and he's just left there in the dirt.
It was a brilliant scene. Honestly, from a comedic standpoint, it was pretty much 10 out of 10.
Yeah, later he wakes up, he regains consciousness on the back of a wagon. Bronn tells him that the Lannisters won the battle, but it wasn't a real battle. Basically, some of the Starks, sacrificed their lives to separate the armies and whatnot. As it was a diversion, Robb sent a small portion of his army to confront and delay Tywin's forces, while the main army marched on to Riverrun to attack Jaime's army. Then later we find that Robb does come back with Jaime Lannister. He's got Jaime Lannister captured. Theon tells Robb to kill him and send his head to the Queen, but Robb says he's not going to do that. He's going to use him as leverage to try and save his father and save his sisters. But Theon thinks that they should kill Jaime because he killed 10 of their men.
I think it's a valid point, but Robb's being smart here. But I think once the news comes down from King Landing, maybe Robb will change his mind here about Jaime Lannister. But I think you've got to bargain with him. He's a big price.
It doesn't make any sense just to cut his head. This is your bargaining chip. I mean, maybe Theon Greyjoy is a bit of an idiot. Maybe he's dumb. Maybe he lacks IQ. But it would make zero sense. You already had one of the Lannisters. Why would you just...
If you were going to kill Jaime Lannister, you would have killed him while you attacked his army, not while you just fucking brought him back.
Now, what I didn't like is we don't actually get to see this scene. I mean, I think it would have been cool to see the actual fight.
Now, Jaime Lannister killed 10 on 1.
But we didn't get to see it. Now, I get it.
Again, a bit unrealistic. He's killed 10 on 1 and no one's went in and killed him.
Apparently he got his sword stuck in someone's head. Or I don't know,
why is no one sticking their sword in his head?
Their chest plate or something.
Oh, because Big Robb put the message out. No one kills Jaime Lannister.
Jaime suggests that they end the war now and they just do one-on-one, and that whoever wins the battle wins the war. He's willing to let Robb choose the weapon.
How would that work though? How would Tywin go, oh that's alright, since Jaime said that, I'm willing to lay down my sword? Bet's a bet.
Well, maybe it doesn't mean right there, right now, but maybe it means let's agree to a duel.
Truce, no matter what happens, you have to deal with it, sort of thing.
I think that's what it is. However, Robb says, no, we ain't going to do things your way, because if we done things your way, then you would win. And that's probably true, although Jaime did say you can pick whatever weapon you want. I mean, he's known as a swordsman. I'm sure if you were fighting with rocks or something, or...
Robb's like, I'll take an assault rifle.
Maybe Robb could win if they had a fist fight. Although Jaime is like a full-grown man, and Robb's like
19.
I think he's 17 here, is he not?
17, there you go.
Or 18. So maybe it's not a fair fight. But does this show that Jaime's not really honourable? Now he can try and pretend that he feels bad about what he done to the Mad King, and that being called the Kingslayer and stabbing him in the back, that bothers him. But he's wanting to fight Robb Stark here. And I just don't think it's honourable, because look at that guy in the Eyrie land. He said he wouldn't, and I know Robb's not Tywin here, but he wouldn't fight him because he didn't think it was fair.
Yeah, it's similar to a degree. But if you're the best, then it's not really fair taking anyone on, is it?
No, but could you not say that Jaime is taking on a kid here that he just knows he's got no chance?
I think it was more here, any chance we can get this done, big man, even though it's not going to happen. But here, I'm looking forward to how this unravels with big Jaime.
Why didn't Jaime say, I'll take on any man of your choosing?
I think he'd still beat them, but yeah, he could have said that.
No, he would have, but I don't know if Robb's the best that they've got. Although I think the best Starkmen have probably already been killed, so... And the other one's sitting in a dungeon with an arrow through his knee, so...
About to get killed.
So yeah, Robb then feels guilty. He says he sent 20,000 men to their deaths today. He gives a speech to his army, says that we've won a great victory, but the war is far from over. Theon Greyjoy says we will sing songs about these 2,000 men, but Robb says aye, but the dead will not hear them. And that is true.
Yep, fair play to the 2,000 men.
How do you decide who's going? Do you pick straws or whatnot? Or?
No, you could survive, but it's incredibly unlikely. If it's a fight to the death and you're outnumbered by that much, you're humped.
Why didn't the 2,000 men just retreat? Maybe did they need to engage to buy time, or?
I guess they couldn't, but then if we retreated, then it would hamper the whole plan. But we didn't get to see it, really.
And I guess this is why Robb...
We seen Tyrion waking up during it.
I guess this is why Robb, in the last episode, sent that Lannister spy back instead of killing him. He told him, tell Tywin that there's 20,000 strong, marching.
Yeah.
So this was a setup.
Smart for Robb. Beyond his years. Better than Ned.
Yeah, at the wall, at Castle Black, Lord Commander Jorah Mormont gives Jon Snow a steel sword, and Jon Snow's all delighted that he's got this sword, and I mean, that's pretty much it. He's happy, he's got a brand new sword.
I've got a sword!
Everybody wants to see it.
Ashby.
What did you think of the sword?
It was a pretty big sword. I thought it was almost a bit cringy, though, the way everyone took it and started fucking marking it. I mean, what age are these guys? You fucking 10-year-olds here. I know, I get they are, teenagers, but they're like, oh, Jon's got a sword!
Yeah, Mormont...
He's just giving them it.
Mormont reinstates Jon to his former position, and he tells him he has dispatched Sir Alistair Thorne to King's Landing to lay the hand of the wight that they found at the feet of the king and ask for aid. How's that going to work?
Yeah, I mean, how is that going to work? Well, let's get aid for the king.
Jon Snow's fucking against the king here. I don't understand. Whatever. Well, we'll see how that plays out. Is the king going to send aid to the wall? I don't think the king gives a fuck about the wall.
All that's going to happen here is, right, this is, I mean, I would bet my life on this. Sir Alistair's going to come back and he's going to be like, Jon, I saw your father get his head cut off, you little bastard. I mean, and that's just going to result in them squabbling again.
Yeah, Mormont explains to Jon that the Longclaw was meant for his own son, Sir Gerard Mormont, but he disgraced himself and fled in exile to Essos. So,
and he's currently there.
Yeah, he's still there, still alive. Jon goes to the dining hall and obviously shows off his sword, and then Sam takes Jon aside and he informs him that Robb is leading an army to the south. He's going to attack the king, he's going to attack King's Landing, and Jon just doesn't really want to be there. He wants to go and help him, and I mean, I guess that's fair. I mean, he wants to fight side by side with his brother.
A bit pissed for Sam though, intercepting his messages. Well, a message about that.
Yeah, then Master Aemon tells Jon, he reveals that his full name is Aemon Targaryen, the son of the king, brother to another, the uncle of the Mad King, already old and blind at the time. Aemon had to stand aside and do nothing, and he's on the wall now. He's
How old was he then?
I don't know. So this reveal didn't do anything for me. I mean, who cares, alright? You were related to him, but I don't really care.
Yeah, it's just a bit... It's kind of like, here, let's give this guy a wee bit something intriguing. Oh, not all the Targaryens are dead.
I think he was trying to reveal...
what's this guy going to do? He's blind. How could he ever have been the king, realistically?
He was basically trying to say that, honour... If you have a family, that can sometimes mess up your honour, so to speak.
Yeah, I jobbed out, Jon, so... Listen to me, big man, it's the right decision to make.
Basically saying, look, Jon, you're better off on the wall where you can keep your honour intact, because sometimes it is hard to defend your honour if you have a family, because you might do unhonourable things to put them first and whatnot. And I don't know if this is like a wee dig at Ned, but felt like it for sure.
Nah, Ned heard them.
In the land of the Dothraki, Cole Drogo falls off his falls off his horse after he took that that infection, that
Slice through the hook.
yeah, slice to the hook.
Again, like, how's this killing him, but the guy got his fingers bit off by the dog, just fucking no soul.
Not too sure.
Drago.
Daenerys wants to perform blood magic with one of the witches, but Otho is unhappy. He's like Khal Drogo's number 2, and he says it's not going to happen. He pushes Daenerys out the way, but then Ser Jorah intercepts him and says, "No, me, you, fight to the death," because he doesn't want him going into the tent. They have a fight. Now, Jorah's kind of losing the fight. He's getting beat, but he's basically full gear armor, and the Dothraki weapon just doesn't penetrate the armor. And we remember, if you remember, like earlier in the season, Jorah was sitting with one of the Dothraki and he was explaining about armor. And the Dothraki was saying how armor make you slow, and Ser Jorah was like, no, armor keep you alive. And I guess this was a good example of it, because this Dothraki looked a lot more skillful, a lot quicker, a lot younger than Ser Jorah, but in the end, his weapon couldn't penetrate the steel armor of Jorah, and then the weapon actually got stuck, and it meant that Jorah had an easy kill. So
I think it depends. I think it depends on the fighter, but I think most of the time you'd rather the armor, wouldn't you?
Although, I mean, Bronn didn't have armor and it worked for him, didn't it, against Ser... Well, that guy was...
It just depends on your tactics. I think if you're smart about it, I think no armor.
I'd rather be a good fighter with no armor than a shite fighter with armor.
A big fat Sam with armor, man.
Yeah, what good's that going to do? The witch then slits the horse's throat, and the blood falls over Drogo, and she starts doing her whole... her whole blood magic, and I mean, that's it really. Ser Jorah thinks that Daenerys has made a mistake, and he wanted her to get out of there, try and get away from the Dothrakis as quickly as possible, because he says that Drogo's going to die, and as soon as he does die, the Dothraki will turn on her, and they'll want to kill her to stop her from giving birth to Drogo's son. But she chose to stay behind. Will Khal Drogo stay alive or not? We don't know. But that's it. Jorah has to take Daenerys into the tent, and he has to interrupt the whole ceremony because she's given birth. So it is what it is. Well, that
it's a weird ceremony, because like all this weird noise coming for a fucking horse. It's like, they haven't really produced this before in the show.
Yeah, Varys then visits Ned again in the dungeons. Varys tells Ned that Sansa begged for his life before the whole court, and that Robb is leading an army north. And the Queen is more concerned over the intentions of King Robert's brother Stannis, a proven battle commander known to be without mercy. For the sake of Sansa's life, Varys urges Ned to confess in treason, and in return, Cersei will let him take the Black and join his younger brother Benji and his bastard son Jon Snow on the Wall. Ned's angered because he doesn't really value this. He says, "You think I'm going to, confess to treason and ruin my honour just so I can live a couple extra years on the Wall?" But Varys tells Ned, it's not about protecting your honour, it's about your family, because they'll pay the price if you don't. So,
but your dad is Ned.
So what's Ned going to do? Is Ned going to stay honourable? Is Ned going to go out like a boss? Or is Ned going to, admit something he didn't do? We'll find out. Arya is trying to, live on the street. She kills a pigeon, tries to trade it for some pastries, but it doesn't really work. And then everyone's charging to this waiting ceremony thing, and it turns out that Ned's been brought out. So Arya runs towards it. Lord Stark then looks at the statue, and he says Baelor. Now I think the statue that Arya was on was Baelor the Blessed. So this is a statue that she was on. That's what the term Baelor is. So Ned shouts to Yoren, who's obviously of the Night's Watch. He's still in King's Landing. Surprised he wasn't killed, to be honest. Because I'd say the wall. I'd say people on the wall, or I know they're not Starks necessarily, but
they lean more towards Winterfell.
It's like Winterfell's the closest place to that, and I feel like anything that happens on the wall, Ned Stark kinda like any deserters from the wall. Ned Stark's the ones that he executed that guy at the beginning of the show. So I would say this Yoren guy would technically be an ally of Ned Stark.
I guess he just comes to King's Landing though to take prisoners away for the wall. So
Well, he must be an ally because I mean he helped Ned here, didn't he?
well, yeah.
Ned shouted at Baelor, and then Yoren went over to
No
the
one
Baelor.
else understood though. So
And Yoren goes over, he grabs Arya, tells her not to watch. Ned's given a chance to confess for his crimes. He does so. He makes a false confession saying that he did this. He betrayed Robert when his body was still warm. He says that Joffrey is the true king of the Iron Throne, and Joffrey's celebrating as if he's just won a world championship.
it's a bit cringy here for Joffrey, to be honest.
It's almost as if Ned's word is everything.
Yeah.
But the previous king's word was nothing, because Cersei just ripped that up. What would it have mattered here? Ned could have says you're not the rightful heir to the throne.
It's almost like Joffrey had a tenor on Ned saying this.
But Ned could have says that Stannis is the true king, and Joffrey could have just called him a liar and killed him anyway, so it wouldn't have made any difference.
Yeah.
Joffrey then says that his mother and Sansa, they want that Ned to be shown mercy and live his life out on the wall, become the member of the Night's Watch. However, they have got the soft hearts of women, and treason will never go unpunished, as he is king. And then he commands Sir Ellen Payne to bring him the traitor's head, and then at this point, Yoren just shields Arya from watching it. Ned just accepts it. He kind of looks up at the crowd and then looks around, and then he sees that Arya's no longer there, so maybe he thinks that Yoren saved his daughter.
He should have took it all back here.
And then he just puts his head down, and the sword comes down and slice. That's it. Off comes Ned Stark's head, and then we just see Arya looking into the sky, and we see pigeons flying. I don't know if that's...
I'm actually going to defend Joffrey here.
Right? Now, she did literally just, snap a pigeon's neck, and they were fat. Is that, bad karma? I don't know.
Nah, that's actually good storytelling. Just call on to that. But I'm actually going to defend Joffrey, right? Because we can all hate Joffrey for this, but see at the end, I understand his logic of, well, you know what? If we let him go, people might think it's alright to commit these crimes and they'll just be sent to the wall. I can understand that. And, we can talk about, the women are soft, and maybe they are, but I mean, Cersei's the one that put all this shit in motion. It's not just fucking Joffrey. Cersei near agreeing, why are you killing Ned, Joffrey? She gives a fuck if Ned goes.
Joffrey doesn't know shit.
Yeah, Joffrey doesn't know. Am I right to believe that Joffrey actually thinks Ned has done this?
I believe so.
So,
I don't think Joffrey's clued in.
I mean, I knew going into this show, a lot of people hate Joffrey, and yeah, he is a shite bag and all that, man. He's very easy to hate. But I think to hate him for this is blind hatred.
That's alright. Robb will kill him on the battlefield.
Aye.
The only issue is Joffrey doesn't go near the battlefield, so how's that gonna happen? Anyway, that's it. That's the end of Baelor. Another good episode. I think season 1 of Game of Thrones is underrated.
Yeah, no,
People say it's the worst season. I think it's the best season.
Yeah, well,
maybe apart from season 8.
I really like Ned, right? But I think he got himself killed, and I think Joffrey deciding to kill him here, I've actually no complaints with it. Even though I know he did kind of say, well, if he confesses, I'll keep him alive. I get that. But see, at the end of the day, do you not think there's much more of an uproar made about this death than what there should be? I think it was avoidable for Ned. It's not like he just gets killed for no reason. He had the chances to sort it out himself, and he didn't. I think his wife's to blame for a lot of it, and I think a few other people, including himself. He trusted the wrong people, and Joffrey's the new king. I think we just can't blame Joffrey for this.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ned, I think he could have sorted this if he'd done it when Robert was alive.
Yeah.
But he tried to do it after Robert died, and I mean, he didn't have much leverage, did he?
I just
outnumbered.
I look at when they killed Glenn and Abraham. Now I'd say I probably cared more about Ned here, particularly than Abraham, for example. But I felt their deaths were justified because the amount of people that Negan's men had lost because of Rick's group. And here it's I just think
Ned's death isn't. His death's not justified though. I mean, maybe in Joffrey's eyes because he doesn't know shit. But Ned's actually really honourable. Fuck, he was actually willing to give Cersei a chance. He was like, get your kids and leave.
Yeah, but he's naive.
But then she warned him. She even says, when you play the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die.
He got killed by his own stupidity and his loyalness to his...
I mean, he's honourable, but then he lost his honour. the last moment of his life.
They've done the character dirty.
He got fucked up the ass. I mean,
yeah, he may as well have shoved his sword up his arse.
He was like 50 years known as the most honourable man in the Seven Kingdoms, and then at the end, just before he dies, he acknowledges treason that he didn't commit, and then he dies anyway. So, I mean...
And it's one of those things that can't be undone here. I don't know how this show goes. Maybe in like 4 seasons' time, it's like revealed. And it's like, oh, remember that guy got his head cut off? He's not actually a treasonous bastard. He's all right. He was honourable the whole fucking time.
Let's have a look at some of the deaths. So we had Drogo's stallion. We had Offal, who is Drogo's second in command. We have Ned Stark. We have more Stark soldiers, lots of Stark soldiers actually, at least 2,000. Many Lannister soldiers and some of the Mountain Men clansmen. So, but obviously Ned's the big one here.
Yeah, Ned will probably be the biggest death of this season. I mean, he's the main character for me, so I don't see.
Yeah, and in terms of new characters, I'd say the only two that were really made any sort of impact on the show would be Walder Frey and Shay, who I thought were both pretty good additions. So. Shitload of characters in Game of Thrones, it's really hard to remember them all, and we've got a lot of Stannis name drops. When are we actually going to see Stannis?
Let's see Stannis before this TV show goes to the HBO static.
Will we see Stannis in the finale? I mean, the guy is the guy should be king, therefore I think we should have seen him by now. Yep. There's all this talk, Ned wants to give him the crown, but where the fuck is he?
I'm going to give this episode an 8. I think they should have probably shown a bit more of the stuff on screen. But for me...
But maybe large fight scenes, maybe that costs money, I don't know. Maybe it's hard to film.
True.
I don't know.
Anyway, what are you giving it? I'm giving it an 8.
I'm giving it an 8 as well.
8 out of 10,
Not a good episode anyway,
Season finale upon us.
Yeah, that's this. We'll catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.